I've been involved with Federation for 10 years and sat on the board for the past 8 years. I chaired Israel and Overseas before I was board chair. I chaired Financial Resource Development before that. I was Women's Philanthropy chair before that. And I was vice chair for Community before that, so.
So in that, your vice chair role was your first role with Federation?
That was my first role, yes. That was after I came back from a Federation mission to Israel in 2007, and I jumped in. I wanted to get involved when I came back from that mission, so I.
So can you talk to us a little bit about what about that mission triggered you to want to get involved with Federation?
Well, there were a lot of triggers on that mission. It was being with a group of people from the Jewish community, most of whom I didn't know, but I was meeting for the first time. And I had such a great time with them, and seeing some of the work that Federation was doing, that Vancouver was doing in Israel, I thought it was fabulous. I wanted to come back and see how I could help.
So that was 10 years ago.
And one more thing.
Oh.
One more thing about that trip is we were there for Yom HaZikaron, Yom HaAtzmaut. And it was a very dramatic feeling of mourning into celebration. And I had been in Israel as a 12-year-old in 1965 for the Maccabi Games. And then my experience in Munich, so it was kind of like a celebration, tragedy kind of thing. I really got those emotions. And so I was reconnecting to my Jewish roots, and this really reconnected me. So again, as a 12-year-old, I'd been in Israel swimming in the Maccabi Games, and then in 1972, I swam for Canada at the Olympics in Munich. And I was one of 4 Canadians who inadvertently climbed the fence into the athletes' village with 4 of the terrorists. And the next day also was witness to the whole hostage drama and seeing the Israelis being led onto their bus at the end of that, never to be seen again, never to be alive again. So that had a very dramatic effect on me. And telling that story to the Jewish community has been a healing process for me. Even though I wasn't aware of the guilt, I think I carried a very heavy load, and I talk about it now in the Jewish communities all over North America.
What were the big challenges that Federation was facing 10 years ago?
I know what the big challenges are now, and I think it was starting to happen then. I came from a regional community. I had been living in White Rock for 30 years. Now, 10 years later, we're really, really engaged with connecting with everybody outside of Vancouver, and how important that was. That was just starting to we're just getting a glimpse of that. But in the past 10 years, we really see how important it is.
So talk to us a bit about why that's important.
Because we'll lose those people, because I was disconnected when I lived out in South Surrey. Until the JCC started out there, my kids were almost grown up. It's too easy to go out, move out, and just live your life and not connect to Jewish institutions. And if we provide for that, if we provide for those people and whatever their needs are, we'll keep them connected. We can't afford to lose anybody. At that time, there wasn't the affordability issue. Now that's pushing people out even more. So that's a really big problem.
I want to go back to the mission for a quick sec, all those years ago. How is it that the opportunity came up to go to a mission?
It could have been from the year before, in 2006, when we hosted the JCC Maccabi Games. And I was asked to chair the swimming for that. And then they heard I was at Munich, but they didn't know the story. And when I told the story, they invited me to speak at the opening ceremonies. And that was in front of 10,000 people in our community. So that made people aware. I think people in Federation aware of who I was. And so that, in 2006, that raised my profile in the community. And then I was asked if I wanted to. I think even before that, someone was asking me, but that's when I went.
Any particular achievements that have happened during that 10 years that make you feel really even stronger or warmer about Federation?
As Women's Philanthropy Chair, I was chair during that time of the recession. It was a tough couple of years, but we still increased women's giving, so I feel good about that, and I think Every Women's Philanthropy Chair since has been almost able to do that, but I feel good that in the 2 years that I chaired, that women's giving increased and that we were a big part of the campaign. And I would think with Israel and overseas, those 4 years, towards the end of the 4 years, like this past spring, I brought in a strategic plan for Israel and overseas, and we are about to make a dramatic change in how we give and what we give our money to. So I feel really good about that. Yeah.
If I was a member of our community who hadn't supported annual campaign in 5 or 6 years, what do you think is the most important thing I should know that might change that in me and make me want to give?
I would say every dollar counts. Every dollar makes a difference. And by participating and giving tzedakah, you are not only helping people, but you're saying that you're a part of the community. Kol Yisrael Alazeh, we look after each other. And by giving a gift, you're saying, I'm going to help look after people too and connect with people. Going to Israel as Israel and Overseas Chair and as the partnership chair. But really, we have partners up in the north of Israel, and they're my friends. We're friends. It's like the volunteer lay leaders and the mayors. It's a whole big, wider community. And I really like that. It feels really good. It makes, it connects. When there's this worry about the diaspora connecting with Israel and Israel connecting with the diaspora, we're doing that. I was disconnected, and I really feel the value in having connected and knowing what community is all about and being part of a community. I know what it feels to be disconnected, and I know how fantastic it feels to be part of a community, and it's really important to me. And I would put that out there to everybody, that being part of a community is a necessity of our lives. And the Jewish community, there are so many rewards to being part of it. Think of how many people out there that aren't connected and how valuable it will be for them to connect. For them, for us too, but for them, they'll appreciate it.